Hello and a warm welcome back to the channel of nonsense. Now today I want to talk about boring car crushes. Not crushers, although cubing uninsured cars is a good idea, I think. Now I'm talking about falling slightly in love with staid, boring cars that do things very well. My one at the moment is the Toyota Yaris Cross, that small crossover that came out a few years ago that was very clever with its hybrid system, very, very efficient. Well, Toyota's sister brand Lexus has basically nicked that idea, put some leather inside it and called it the LBX. Now, I've been living with it for a week and I've been quite impressed. So in this video we're going to find out if this is just a Yaris Cross with some leather on the inside or if it's really a decent, properly premium small SUV. Let's go and find out, shall we? Don't know why I'm tiptoeing across the road. Right, let's talk about prices then. If you want a Toyota Yaris Cross, that will cost between 26.5 grand and 32 grand for a top spec one. This runs from about 30 grand for a basic urban model up to just over 40,000 pounds. Yeah. So the LBX, that stands for Lexus Breakthrough Crossover. They're trying to break through into a cheaper market and get people into Lexuses at a lower price point, hence making a small car. I thought it stood for Labia Rich, but apparently it doesn't. Now, this is a fairly top spec one. This one is 40,500 pounds. It's a Takumi design, so you get these nice 18-inch alloys, you get LED headlights with these daytime running light signatures. I think it looks quite nice, but don't buy a grey one, please, because Lexus has done us a favour and they've put a bright yellow one on the configurator. You can also get their cool molten copper, slightly rose gold finish as well, and it looks properly stunning in those colours. So it's a bit of a shame that I've got a grey one here to show you, but I think it looks like a handsome thing. And yes, you can tell that it's about the same size and shape as the cheaper Yaris Cross, but as we'll find out inside, it is worlds away when you start touching and prodding and poking around it, as you should do with cars, not always people. I've learned that lesson. Size-wise, the LBX is 4.2 meters long, so really its closest premium rival is something like the ancient now Audi Q2. That's the same length as this and comes from a premium manufacturer. This weighs 1.3 tons, so it's quite light for what it is, and that's because it is a hybrid with a battery. So anyway, I'm going to show you the rest of it because I've run out of things to talk about from the side of it. Wasn't very much. Inside is where the Lexus LBX really does shine compared to certainly the Toyota Yaris Cross. I say small SUVs do tend to err on the side of plasticky because they're usually trying to be big cars sold cheap. This though feels like a Lexus. It's covered in lots of lovely micro suede. There's leather on the seats, excuse me, GoPros, and it's just got some really nice contrast stitching as well. It feels properly premium in here, helped by the fact you get this digital screen down there as standard, albeit with some physical climate controls. You also get digital dashboard as standard on nearly all of them as well. You used to get a slightly smaller one at the very bottom of the range, I believe. In this one I've got wireless charger down there. They've all got wireless Apple CarPlay. You have to plug in for Android Auto though, I believe. You've got some USB-Cs there. Now, because this is a near top spec Takumi, it's got a 360 camera, it's got a 13 speaker Mark Levinson sound system. I've got a heated steering wheel, I've got an electrically adjustable seat, and yes, the list does go on a little bit alongside a head-up display. That head-up display, to be fair, does appear in the middle of the range on a Premium Plus model, and you get the big digital driver's display when that appears pretty much. Although Lexus will probably change this next week, so this will be out of date. Now, some bits I like, as in the Yaris Cross I seem to remember, you've got these buttons for opening the doors. You can either pull them as the physical handles or just pop them with your finger to open the door, and that's immensely satisfying. In terms of storage, got an okay sized glove box. You've got door bins that can swallow one big bottle of water each, and under here you've got some storage and you can slide this back and forth to your heart's content. And then that comes back for your rear seat passengers to twat their knees on. Backseat space was never going to be a small SUV like the LBX's strong point. I'm 6'3", that will go forward slightly into my driving position in a second, but yeah, I've got no knee room. At least it's soft at the back, so I'm not jabbing my knees into it like that horrible Alpha Junior the other day. I've got a little bit of footroom and not really any headroom. I touch the ceiling really easily, being a tall bloke. Now, there is a flat floor in the middle, but you kind of need to slide that out of the way. And then you've got two USB-Cs down there. You've got a big bottle door bin on each door. And at least it doesn't feel claustrophobic when you shut the door, because the window line is nice and low there. So yeah, it's nicely appointed back here. I like the backseat passengers, get some soft, fluffy suede there as well. They just don't get much space, and to be honest, even my 4-year-old and my 6-year-old have found it a bit cramped in here in their child seats. So not a great small family SUV. More for business meetings, quick ones. The LBX isn't especially exciting from the buttock end. I do like the light bar though that comes down here and kicks up here, but it's a little bit dowdy looking. Now these can tow up to 750 kilos on a brake trailer, which isn't bad for a tiny hybrid car, to be honest. The 402 litre boot is not much to write home about. You've got a big drop into it there. It's an okay space actually for this size of car. It's about average, and you've got a big cutout there for sticking stuff in and one there as well. I've got an electric opening boot on this near top spec one. I've got reversing camera on it as well. Yeah, there are more practical cars that are this size if you want something like a Skoda Kamiq, but obviously that says Skoda on the back, not Lexus, which is the whole point of this car. Posh smallness, not unposh bigness. Sometimes when you reverse Lexus LBX, it sounds exactly like Black Eyed Peas. Tonight's going to be a good night. Hang on. Anyway, but yeah, this is a very easy car to drive because, that's not quite so will.i.am, because it uses the Toyota Yaris Cross's ECVT gearbox system with a 1.5 litre engine. It's got a bit more power than the Toyota. It's 136 horsepower here in total, which is about 20 horsepower up on the most basic of the Yaris Crosses. And I would love to try and explain to you how the gearbox system in this car works, but it's so clever and so complicated, I've tried for years and I can't do it. It's got various motor generators and planetary gearbox rings and things like that. It doesn't use cones and pulleys like a normal CVT gearbox. It's very clever at being very efficient all the time, basically. To actually use though, it is dead simple. You don't often get that horrible mooing loud acceleration noise you get when you put your foot down in a CVT car. It's there a little bit, but it quickly starts behaving and sounding like a normal gearbox with the revs going up and down as you use it. Good news though, it is very efficient. I've been getting 55 mpg without trying. I've got friends with Yaris Crosses who easily get over 65 miles per gallon in normal day-to-day life. Now, because this is a top spec one, I have got paddles behind the steering wheel to, well, I don't really know what they do. They kind of do fake gears in between, but given, you're an absolute sausage head. I hope you don't. Now, being a near top spec one, I have got these kind of plasticky paddles behind the steering wheel here, and they kind of just go through some sort of fake gears for you. They're a little bit pointless. Just put it into D and leave it if you're just going to drive this like a normal person. But yeah, performance isn't exactly explosive. 0 to 62 is 10 and a bit seconds, but you've always got a sense there's a decent chunk of electric power helping you out under the bonnet. And when you get up to 40, 60, whatever speed you want to do, it really does settle down and just get out of your way, which is really what you want a self-charging hybrid to do. And obviously Toyota and Lexus are pretty much the best in the world now at doing self-charging cars. So they've chosen the right thing for this LBX. No, it's not electric, but it's a hell of a lot lighter and cheaper than it would be if it was fully electric. Now, it's not loads of fun to drive. You weren't going to expect a car based on a Yaris Cross to be fun to drive, but being a small SUV, it has got a real sense of being nimble and darty. And if you do actually drive this quickly down a B road, you can have a bit of a laugh. You feel like Lexus has got some people on their team who are into their sporty driving, and despite being the entry-level Lexus, this can put a smile on your face when you grab it by the scruff of the neck. It just doesn't really want you to do it initially. You don't get that sense anyway. But otherwise, it's refined on motorways, it's nice cruising around town. The ride quality around town is perhaps its biggest weakness. It's not quite as costing as you'd expect for a Lexus when you're doing 30, 40 over potholes and manhole covers and speed bumps and things like that. It's not bad, but it's just not quite as refined as you might want at low speeds. You get a little bit too much jiggle going on, but it doesn't get on your nerves, I have to say. Now, it used to be the case that Lexi, came with a bevy of ergonomic annoyances when it came to using the infotainment system, but because this is just a straightforward touchscreen, that's about the only annoyance, the fact you have to look at it to prod at it while you're driving. But you have got physical knobs for up and down, as I've said, on the temp down there. You have got these weird haptic buttons on the steering wheel. They are real buttons, but as you drag your fingers over them, they light up in the head-up display, and it shows you what you can do. But it does that just when you're holding the steering wheel, a bit funny. So at the moment, my head-up display is going a little bit crazy because I've accidentally touched the buttons with my thumbs just lightly resting on there. It's a little bit distracting, to be honest. I'd rather they weren't in any way haptic-y, just leave them as physical buttons, because look, change my head-up display just by accidentally resting my hand in the wrong bit of the steering wheel. Now, I should point out that you can get this as an all-wheel drive car if you want. The really top spec models, which are nearly all over £40,000, can be had with an electric motor added to the rear axle as well. So the all-wheel drive system functions purely by giving you an electric motor on the rear axle, and that doesn't actually make it any faster. In fact, it makes the car slower to accelerate because it's got the extra weight of that motor. It's just there, I guess, if you live somewhere with slippery hills in winter or you love a muddy car park. It's going to give you a bit of extra reassurance that you're going to get out. Now, just before we head back for a conclusion, I should point out that you have got an EV mode button down here, which will basically make the car use its battery and drive motor and not the petrol engine for as long as it can. And that isn't very long, to be honest. This isn't designed to be driven on electric power alone, 40 miles an hour for any distance whatsoever, but it is there if you want it, and there's an eco button as well, which will just soften everything off and help you get more MPG. Realistically though, you're just going to fill up the tank with petrol and it'll do about 400 miles between fill-ups, and you'll be like, well, it's a pretty efficient small SUV. But anyway, let's head back to me for a conclusion where hopefully I sound a little bit more human. In short, I have been very impressed by the Lexus LBX. And I remember when this car came out at the start of 2024, it instantly won What Car's Car of the Year award. It's not that good, but it is very good. It's expensive for a small car, but that's because it's a Lexus. It's not that roomy because it's a small car. But I kind of feel like I'm uniquely sited living in Surrey for this car, because it is perfect if there's just one or two of you that wants a premium feeling car, but you don't need a massive Range Rover or anything like that. It's got a very clever hybrid system. It's very efficient. I love the feeling of the cabin. And yes, I still think it feels Lexus-y enough on the inside. It doesn't just feel like a Toyota Yaris Cross that's been driven into a leather field. So yes, I am very impressed. I'm going to give it 9 Timbrodies out of 10. I really like it. It's replaced the Audi Q2 in my default choice for a small SUV for snobs. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. If you've liked it, please hit like, subscribe to my channel, and go down to the comments. And in Japanese, of course, please tell me whether you would spend 40 grand on this or a much bigger car from Skoda, like the Kodiaq. Konnichiwa.